take your trousers off as well.
Brainmelting Renovations.
That's never going to work.
This property was doomed from the start. We've been told a pack of lies. It was on the top floor of this really old building, beautiful building, but the neighbours, oh my God, they were just determined not to spend a penny on this building. But we didn't know that they needed to until I got into the renovation. So once we got in, we were doing a full just rewire. We were changing the kitchen into the living room to create an extra bathroom. And then I discovered 60% of the roof trusses were rotten. And it turns out that up on the roof, there's a parapet wall. So it was on the gable end. The parapet wall was, instead of being straight like this, it's leaning like this. And the beam below it is fully rotten. The rafters are rotten. And this has obviously been going on for a long period of time.
You haven't factored that into your numbers then?
Absolutely not. You know, I think we were about maybe a year and a half into the relationship, and I'm thinking,
this is going to end it.
Oh, shit. I really like this guy, and I this could really go belly up. And it really tested us. It tested us. So the first thing you do is you contact the neighbours and you go, Their response kind of really set the tone was, well, it was fine until you got in there and ripped it all out.
Was it self-factored? No factor?
Still factored. So it turns out that the neighbour below, he was actually a roofer and knew full well what was going on up on the roof, but chose to ignore it. Now, I challenged them on that, which I probably shouldn't have done, but I just called it out, and they just hated me from that moment on, and it was really difficult to get this roof done. It took nearly a year to get the roof done, with a lot of argy-bargy with the neighbours, and I just felt like they all ganged up, and I was like, no, this is like this because you have all neglected this building.
It for years.
Yeah, you're self-factoring, but what you're not really factoring. All you're doing is just putting out fires.
Did you get the money out of them in the end?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, we did, because I'm like a dog with a bone when it comes to these things. It was a lot of work. It took so long that by this point we had decided not to live there. The thought of bumping into these neighbours, they were just to drive me mad. They were, we don't have money for this, we don't have money for that. And then they would roll up in their, not the Range Rover, what's the other one?
Land Rover?
No, it is the Range Rover, the Range Rover Sport.
I don't know anything about cars. This is your car guy here.
Coming out with their money bags, and I'm like, but you've got money for that, and you've got money for your holidays.
Because it was like your problem, not there. You know, because you were up there and they were down here, they're not that motivated.
Social
what was
media,
their share of the roof repair? What was
10 grand each.
Okay.
But that was done cheaply. We didn't use the sandstone because we had to rebuild the chimney breasts. It was a huge job. I was dying inside because it was costing. We spent nearly £60,000 on our renovation that I had budgeted 40.
It's quite a bill.
So
not like, I mean, how did you come out of that in the end? So you sold it and did you make a profit?
So when we put it on the market, so by this point we decided that we weren't going to live in it. And so we'd finished it. I said, why don't we rent it out for a period of time and try and claw some of our money back before we then sell it? So we did. We got a good rental for it. And then we revalued it, took some of that money out, and then that allowed us to buy the house that we're down in the coast.
Right.
Once we put it on the market, it was just a really bad time. There just wasn't a lot of bites, and the couple that bought it ended up pulling out, and they were buying it for at home report value, which left us with, we weren't really going to make anything on it. But then, so they pulled out, and then another couple came along, and they were just the perfect couple because this flat was really colourful. I put a lot of design into it. It really stood out. There was nothing like it on the market. And they just put in this whopping great offer. And I kept going back to the agent and going, are you sure you've not got the numbers round the wrong way? Like that, and he's like, no, Jay, this is what they've offered. Take it and run. And
have you got the numbers written down for this one? Because I saw you looking at your notepad.
Yes. So we bought it for 180 and then we sold it for 276.
Okay, and you spent 60 grand on the refurb?
Yes.
And you obviously rented it out for a period of time as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did all right out of it. We did okay. And
not an easy one, but a learning experience.
Not an easy one.
What did you learn from that then? What did you take away from it?
So my diplomacy probably wasn't as good as what I thought it was.
Was there swearing at the neighbours and shouting and swearing, or you keep it calm? But
no, the woman below didn't. She was, but they ended up selling as well. So they just wanted out. They just thought, oh God, this woman's going to unearth more problems. We're out of here. And a lovely couple kind of moved in below. The money side was, I really thought we were going to come out of it wiping our face, but we did really well out of it. I was so happy. But sorry, going back to the learnings, it solidified my theory about colour, about putting colour into properties.
You love your colours.
People pay a premium for something they love.
Yes, there's if you can get into a niche, people pay money for a niche.